getting evicted in 12 days now. They're suing us for $6,000. Right?
Just about, yeah. We currently owe 4,000.
There's no sound?
Yeah, it's low.
There's sound, but it's really low.
The full amount that we've already signed our contract for is a little under 6,000. Let's say that.
Packing up all our stuff here so we can move out of the hotel and be homeless. Look, tent. So we're gonna be living in a tent. In the meantime, we playing Fortnite, chilling and relaxing. Look, this is our gamer tags. We just vibing, just trying to relax because once we homeless, we're gonna be doing a lot of setting up. And the chainsaw broke today. Well, it didn't break, but we have to set up the chainsaw because we're cutting down a lot of plant life and the chainsaw is not working. So we gotta figure out what's going on. We're gonna use ChatGPT for the instructions because I don't know how it works. I'm using ChatGPT.
So this was a video of they're basically getting evicted. They're owed somewhere like around $6,000, and this is what they're currently doing, right? But they're planning to go play video games. What's your thoughts on this situation?
I didn't hear the first part. I was able to hear the last part through my headphones.
It's pretty low. It's pretty, yeah.
Yeah, once I put on the headphones, I was able to hear it pretty clear. I think Toya want to say something.
They're planning to go play video games leisurely or for income?
I don't know.
Are they streaming or something?
It doesn't say. I could run it back.
Because if they're going to get evicted, they had to find some way of making that money, right?
Right?
Just about, yeah. We currently owe $4,000, something like that. But the full amount that we've already signed our contract for is a little under 6,000. Let's say that. Yeah.
We're packing up all our stuff here so we can move out of the hotel and be homeless. Look, tent. So we're gonna be living in a tent. In the meantime, we playing Fortnite, chilling and relaxing. Look, this is our gamer tags. We just vibing, just trying to relax because once we homeless, we're gonna be doing a lot of setting up. And the chainsaw broke today. Well, it didn't break, but we have to set up the chainsaw because we're cutting down a lot of plant life and the chainsaw is not working. So we gotta figure out what's going on. We're gonna use ChatGPT for the instructions because I don't know how.
It's leisure. He said leisure.
All right, I got better.
They're about to be they're gonna be leaving soon. They're gonna be homeless soon.
Yeah.
But for now, they're just playing video games.
So yeah. I did see the other videos. They got evicted. They're living outside in a tent.
Right. So yeah. So basically, he was basically saying we playing Fortnite right now because we may not play it again for a long time.
Right. They were trying to enjoy the last good moments that they have.
Yeah, that's what I kind of see too.
So what happened if trying to find a job?
Well, the fact that they owe $6,000, whatever they were doing ain't working. So at this point, they were like, yo, it's time for us to pack up and go. They basically gave up.
That's not what
they owed that money, huh?
I would hope that finding a job is on their agenda. I could understand them enjoying the last day that they got.
And they never said they didn't have jobs. They just say they couldn't get the amount of money they needed because who's paying for their food and all that stuff?
You're missing the last part. They're going to pitch a tent so they could live.
I know.
All right, I get you. That doesn't necessarily equate to them not having a job, but.
Yeah, I heard him say because he needed a chainsaw, but it broke because they got to cut some stuff down and clear some space for their tents and everything.
That means you bumming it. That means you're bumming it. If you, all right.
That's what I'm saying. They gave up.
If you give up, that means you're going homeless.
Yeah. And seem like they're okay with that right now because whatever the alternative is never worked out.
How about the alternative just getting a different apartment? Because that was my whole point. Why not move out and get into a place?
Well, if they owe $6,000, that means they ain't got no money to begin with because they only owe $4,000. So they don't have it.
And remember, some apartments, you need first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, all that.
So that $4,000, I mean, we know they could get a small studio or whatever, but they basically gave up.
Okay.
That's how I look at it. Because look at all the stuff they got. Like, why not sell half that stuff? Look at all the shoes and everything they got piled up. And so obviously they want to keep all that stuff and be homeless at the same time.
You bring up a great point, because that's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, if I'm gonna be out on the street, half them stuff you can't take half the stuff with you.
No. Well, that ain't something they're gonna learn that within a year or whatever after, once they out there for a while and realize what's important and what's not. You know, I'm sure they live in that lavish life. A lot of them do.
I'll be honest, man. I know people could get down on their luck, right? I understand this. I understand people could get down on their luck. And when I seen this video, I'm like, yo, me as a man, I'm not going to play video game if I'm going to get kicked out. If I got a wife to protect and I got kids, I am not going to play no video game. You get what I'm trying to say? Because at the end of the day, you still got to protect your wife. You still got to protect your family. You get what I'm trying to say?
That just tells you where his priorities are.
Exactly.
You know, and sometimes the priorities are cultural.
Well, it's not just him, it's her too.
I don't know where they're from.
They're both together.
Yeah. But priorities in terms of, you know, what's most important right now. You know, is it playing video games or is it?
Because at this point, they're in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Are they? I don't think so.
I think that's what it said.
They did say that.
They rented. This is a hotel that they were staying at.
Yep.
And yeah, so basically, they owed the hotel that much money for staying there. You know what I mean?
Okay. So that probably makes sense.
They got all their cookers and all this stuff. So they've been staying there on the hotel dime for a while if they owe them $6,000 or, you know what I'm saying?
So it makes sense, because I got a video that's doing pretty good, and the video was explaining in some states, if you let someone live with you, a friend, come and live with you for more than 30 days, they're basically on the lease. There's not exact words. You can't kick them out.
Evict them, nah.
Yeah, you can't.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So this is the same thing with this. If they get to stay in the hotel for 30 days, the hotel really can't kick them out, because I seen that case in Washington, D.C., where a squatter rented an Airbnb.
Yes.
And after 30 days, she became kind of like a tenant, and the lady couldn't kick out her Airbnb, and she was living her best life. And she had to pay the bills. She had to keep the lights on. She was going broke. So those are probably some of the strategies some of these new squatters are using to take over people home, you know, not pay bills. They call them pro squatters, where they know how to
work the system.
Yeah. And they get away with it. You know, so
it should be a pro squatters website. I'm sure there might be.
They got that information out there, but man, that makes more sense.
It's sad, but you know what? When you look at a lot of these people out here that's homeless, they're some of the most educated people out here.
True.
And they basically failed and gave up at some point. And you know, we don't really know their story, where they've been. So
right.
You can't really.
Most people associate homelessness with like addictions, and that's not always the case.
True.
When I was a nursing student, one of my assignments was to go to a shelter in Danielson, and you will be amazed at what I learned talking to some of these people.
Yeah. To add to that, I was in Tobago, and I was just talking to a random guy, you know. Homeboy shirt was like torn up. His khaki pants were like dirty. Hair was like thing, and he was talking to me. He was just talking to me. It's like, you know, you're from America, and he was talking to me, and this guy was educated. Yo, I'm talking about down to his pronunciation of words and everything he was telling me. I'm like, yo, so why you out here? You know, it said, hey, I made some wrong. I said, he basically told me he made some wrong life decision, but you know, he said, other than that, I ain't stupid. You know, I'm like, but it was disheartening to see. I walked away from that just thinking he was just a regular bum. But he was like, no, he had a whole conversation with me, and it was just all intellectual stuff. I'm like, wow, man. I'm like, why you out here? And he explained, you know, but that's why you can't judge everyone that's homeless, you know, that way. I get it.
Hey,
Just curious, the choices he made, were they, you know, was it like drug related, violence?
Money. His was money. Yeah, he was. I think his situation was more of a money situation where he gambled on something and he lost it all. Yeah, so I think
there's people in that position that have like money. They've been scammed.
Yeah. So his was like a bad transaction.
Bad investment.
Yeah, bad investment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sad. But hey, she going down too. Was she working, or was she even a part of it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. That this was the full context of that one.